Imagine you had a button in your pocket that could pause gravity, not just for yourself, but for everything around you, every object, every drop of water, every grain of sand, every human, animal, and machine suddenly free from the invisible force that ties us to the earth. At first, it might feel like a dream come true, the ultimate escape from the mundane rules of nature, the closest thing to real magic. You press the button, and suddenly your coffee cup doesn't fall when you tip it over, your phone floats next to your hand, and you can push off the ground like an astronaut and drift weightlessly through the air. The whole world transforms into a cosmic playground. But very quickly, the consequences of stopping gravity will become bizarre, dangerous, and even catastrophic. Think about the most basic thing you take for granted, standing on the ground. With gravity paused, your body would no longer be pulled down. You'd hover awkwardly with the smallest movement, and a single push would send you drifting. Walking would be impossible, running would send you spinning into the air, and if you sneezed, you might accidentally propel yourself across the room. Everyday life would collapse in an instant. Cars on the road would no longer grip the asphalt. The moment gravity paused, they'd lose traction, their wheels spinning uselessly in the air as vehicles drifted off in chaotic directions. Airplanes, surprisingly, would be in trouble too, not because they'd fall, but because lift depends on gravity pulling them down against the upward force of air. Without gravity, their entire aerodynamic system would become meaningless, sending them spinning uncontrollably. Even trains would lift off their rails, floating like enormous toys. But the effects wouldn't stop with machines. Oceans, lakes, and rivers would lose all reason to stay put. The seas would bulge upward into enormous, wobbling blobs of water that break apart into massive floating spheres. Waves would stop crashing, waterfalls would freeze in midair, and raindrops would hang suspended above the ground like glittering jewels. Imagine walking outside and seeing billions of tiny water droplets frozen mid-fall, like the whole sky had turned into a glittering crystal dome. It would be breathtaking, but terrifying. Our own bodies, too, rely on gravity in ways we hardly notice. Your blood, your bones, your muscles, they've all evolved to exist under Earth's pull. Without it, blood would rush to your head, leaving you puffy-faced and red, your muscles would weaken quickly, and your bones would start to lose density. Astronauts deal with this after months in orbit, but if you paused gravity everywhere, billions of people would suddenly experience it at once. The dizziness, nausea, and disorientation would be overwhelming. Then there's the atmosphere itself. Gravity keeps the air pressed close to the surface of the Earth, giving us the oxygen we need to breathe. Without it, the atmosphere would begin drifting into space like smoke from a fire. At first, you wouldn't notice, air doesn't just vanish instantly, but within seconds the balance would shift. Breathing would become harder, winds would behave strangely, and massive air pockets could swirl into space. If you held gravity off too long, Earth could suffocate. Now, let's think about the cosmic scale. The moon orbits Earth because of gravity. Pause gravity, and the moon would simply shoot off in a straight line, abandoning us forever. Tides would vanish, the delicate balance of Earth's tilt could wobble, and the long-term stability of our planet would be destroyed. The Earth itself holds together because gravity pulls its mass inward. Without it, even the ground beneath your feet wouldn't stay solid. Rocks, soil, and entire continents would begin to drift apart. Our planet would literally fall to pieces, scattering into space like an exploded balloon. And yet, imagining this power also shows us how utterly dependent we are on gravity, this silent, invisible force that never turns off, never falters, never sleeps. Without it, there is no Earth, no oceans, no air, no life. If you paused it for just a second, you'd see cups floating and water hanging in midair. Pause it for a minute, and you'd plunge the world into chaos. Pause it for an hour, and the planet itself could be destroyed. Of course, in a fantasy world where you could pause gravity but magically keep everything else stable, the air, the oceans, the planet, you'd essentially become a superhero. You could float through the air at will, lift impossible weights, dodge bullets by stepping aside as they hung frozen in front of you. You'd redefine sports, travel, even war. But real physics wouldn't be so forgiving. A pause-gravity world would be stunning for a few seconds, then apocalyptic. The truth is, gravity isn't just something that holds us down. It's the glue that holds everything together. The Earth, the oceans, the air, the moon, the very atoms that make up your body. Without it, we don't just float, we unravel. So, if you ever found yourself holding that impossible button, able to stop gravity for the entire universe, you might think twice before pressing it. Because the moment you do, you wouldn't just change how you move, you change the fate of the entire world.